we're preparing for Houston, and the preparations are going well. We watched their game last night from Saturday, and they're pretty explosive on offense. They do a lot of the same things that we do offensively. A couple of their offensive staff members have played for and worked for Noel, so there's a lot of similarities in formations and motions and play structure and things like that. And they're a pretty dynamic offense. So, you know, we're going to have to do a good job on defense. I'd like to see us come out and start a little bit faster on defense, especially against the quarterback runs than we have in the first 2 weeks. And offensively, they play a four-down front and mostly a nickel scheme with a lot of zone, some bump and run bail stuff, and I'm sure that they'll be fired up to come out here and play us. So it'll be a good game.
Is their quarterback run similar to what you played last week?
No, not quite. They'll throw it more. You know, they're more similar to us offensively than they are to the last two teams we played. But still, that's been an issue for us in the first two games, is the quarterback getting free on runs. And so we just have to make sure we address that, because you would assume going into any game that if you've had trouble with something, that the next team you prepare for is going to try to mimic it.
So the defensive coach is going to utilize Noel as a resource this week? Is he sitting on some defensive meeting?
No, you know, we've worked together now. We've had a lot of practices together, and we've seen this offense a lot just on our practice field. It'll be different because every coach has his own idiosyncrasies that he involves in his game plan. But Noel will be busy trying to figure out how to get our offense going.
The team that passed 77 times last week.
Mm-hmm.
How much more of a burden does that put on your DBs?
Well, as long as we're getting pressure on the quarterback, good pass defense is a function of all 11, not just the 4 or 5 or 6 defensive back. So we approach it that way.
As far as rotations of those positions, I mean, those guys are going to be running.
Well, the hope, going into any game is that, they don't have 77 plays against us, that we can get off the field. But, they certainly showed last week the ability to stay on the field. I'm talking about Houston right now. But, our guys are in good shape and they're well trained.
Coach, it seems like you've pressured a lot more than just a four-man rush at the beginning of the game, and then kind of adjusted because you were getting strong enough pressure from your forefront. Is that kind of how it's been the last couple of games?
Absolutely. We like to pressure, and we like to get our kids' feet going early in a game, and you do that by pressuring. But if you can apply pressure on the quarterback and affect him as a passer with a four-man rush and drop 7 into coverage, then you're always better off in coverage. And we've just felt like we've been able to do that, but we've also, had to dial back on the pressures because we've been gashed on a couple of them on some runs, and that doesn't. You don't like that. You don't like that at all. When you're playing a mobile quarterback, like the last two we've played, every time you dial up a pressure, when you pressure, essentially you overload a side, or you attack a gap with multiple players. You're trying to beat a protection. When you do that, you vacate a gap as well. And when the quarterback finds that vacated gap, it can be a big one.
What kind of element, what kind of added bonus has it been with Anthony Barr, and along those same lines of the pressure he's providing, it's just the job he's doing it outside linebacker?
Well, after 2 games, he's doing well, and he's still got a lot to work on. But in this style of defense, the style that we play, those 2 outside pass rushers are your primary points of pressure on the quarterback. And both he and Jordan have done a good job.
You had concerns about your O-line and the depth at the secondary coming into the season. Now it looks like they're both pretty good. What are your concerns now with your team against the leagues?
Depth on the offensive line and depth in the secondary. It's only been 2 weeks, and I have concerns all over the place. But the offensive line so far has played well. The secondary so far has played well. It's good to see Randall Goforth getting a lot of time. It's good to see Ishmael Adams getting a lot of time. It's good to see Stan McKay and Dalton getting a lot of time. You know, so there's 4 essentially what you'd call backups getting a lot of time on defense. So anytime you can get those snaps and gain experience, it's going to help you.
Coaches look at the first game, the second game jump for players, especially the young guys. Did you see some things that the first game, the second game for your young guys that stood out?
Well, just a little more consistency. You know, you'd hope that going into the third game, that consistency grows.
About Goforth, did you see that you felt he was really prepared for that? You talked last night
Mm-hmm.
in debrief. What is it you see in him?
You know, you saw it really kind of in his high school film, and then when we got to know him on his recruiting visit, there's a certain fearlessness to him. He's able to put a bad play behind him. You know, he's able to put a good play behind him and focus on the next play. He's got a lot of confidence, and yet he's not. And he's got the confidence because he prepares well. I mean, if you've watched him practice, he practices very hard, and he's very serious in the way he practices. And I thought he did a nice job on Saturday. Well, he played well. You know, obviously, you know, you saw the 2 dropped interceptions, and that's pretty uncharacteristic of Randall. He's got very good hands, and you know, he had a chance to start the game with an interception and end it with an interception, and you know, they bounced off his hands. But I don't think, you know, if he's given that opportunity again or puts himself in the position to make that play again, I don't think that'll happen again.
Were there some concerns about how he would handle it when you win?
Not really. No, you know, you can't go into a game thinking negatives. You just throw them out there and let them roll. You know, we recruited these guys because we think they're good football players and good athletes and great competitors, and he went out and did a good job.
Well, not so much negatives, but just areas that he needed to grow in. Did you see that on the film?
Yeah, that he did grow?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? I would say that I saw what I thought I was going to see, which was a kid that played consistently and with confidence and overcame his mistakes and came back and made good plays. Well, he's done a good job. He still needs to work on a lot of things, as does everyone on our team. But you know, what you see out of Simon is more the way he works during the week that makes the impression on you. You know, he's very focused in practice. He's working hard. He's trying to get better at all the little details of his position. And then it has manifested itself, at least in the first 2 weeks, with good, solid play in the games.
Anything else? Is there any update on Brett?
He's fine.
He's fine. That's an upgrade from good.
He's good.
It's fine. Higher than good.
He's good and fine.
He's not good.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're going to write he's upgraded?
He's upgraded to fine.
Is he a food or anything like that?
No.
Anything else?
Coach, the recent rankings that have come out, does it make it harder to guard against the letdown this coming week?
Excuse me, I didn't hear the first part.
With the recent rankings that have come out, does it make it harder to guard against the letdown this week?
No.
Anything else? Thanks.
Okay, thanks everybody.